Confident that that's what had happened. God. 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 What kind of band is this?
I don't know what kind of band this is, but hello. I did not realize the time already. Holy buckets. Great Scott. How is everybody? How has the weekend been for you all? What have you gotten up to? Tell me all about it. Please. Please, please, please. There's no kid at my house right now. He's been gone since yesterday morning, and he won't be back until sometime tomorrow. So, that's been great. Not that I don't love the little bugger. Just saying. It's always nice to take a break. But yes, gosh, we went over, ran some chores, or ran errands, not ran chores. You do chores, you run errands. We ran some errands today, this morning. We went out for like a breakfast date. We went to a local place called Bluebird. It's an extremely, extremely popular little diner that we have in our city. It's kind of one of a kind. There's one more. Like the owners built another one in like another city just north of us. But yeah, the one where I live is always busy. But we got in, we had a little, little breakfast date, and then we ran some errands, and then we went over to the house. to check on the build progress because they put up drywall recently. However, we noticed some issues at the house. I wonder if I can even show you just by holding up my phone. I wonder if it'll let me do that. So this isn't an issue, but I just wanted to show you. So like this is like the living, dining, kitchen area. It's all drywalled now. It's very exciting. Woo! It's kind of hard to see with the way that the light bounces on it. And they put siding up on the house, which is super cool. I have a picture of that, or at least a partial picture. This was before it was completed. You can't really tell what's going on there because of the green screen effect, but there's siding on the house. It's there. However, here's the prob. There's supposed to be 4 vents coming out one side of the house. One is for like our primary bathroom. Another is for the hood vents, like where the microwave vents out to. A third one is for the dryer, so it has a vent out. And then the fourth one is for the basement bathroom. And then there's one on the very other side, on the other side of the house, but that has a vent of its own. The problem is the drywalling folks drywalled right over. I don't know if you can see if I can. What are we doing here? Stop doing that. See if I can get this so it shows up properly. You see that little metal sticking out right there? That's supposed to be a vent. That is supposed to be a vent. And they just put siding right on top of it. Like, really? Are we that fucking blind? Excuse my language. That we can't see that there's a vent right there? And then, so the back patio has a deck on it, or not a deck. It has the back patio has a covering, like a roof. And right here in the corner, in the soffit, they're supposed to have an outlet. There is an outlet there. I've seen it, but they covered it up. They literally covered it up. And there's one or two minor things in the house that I also noticed. So I sent a very long email off to our contact at the building office today just to describe, you know, and show pictures of all these freaking issues. But it's like, and hi Phony, by the way. Sorry, I wasn't ignoring you. Hi Phony. Have they taped and mudded yet? They sure have. They did that recently because the mud is still slightly damp. And that was the other thing I noticed since you brought that up. In some spots in the house, there are outlets already installed. Not everywhere, but for some reason, there are some in a few places. Maybe they had to test connections or something. I don't know. But the guys that did or whoever did the mudding and the taping, they use so much mud in some spots that it's actually sitting on and inside the outlet. Once that fully dries and hardens up, you're not going to be able to use the outlet at all. Like sloppy. And it was very frustrating. When you're paying almost $500,000 for a house, I'm expecting some professionalism in the build. And crap like that where you're siding over a very obvious vent, so obvious that it makes the siding stick out a little bit, and you're putting the mudding inside a fucking socket. Come on. Like, I'm getting a little frustrated. So at some point I'm gonna have to have a come to Jesus conversation with somebody and be like, look, paying a shit ton of money to make sure we have a nice house here that's professional and looks good and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Crap like this, I'm not going to stand. We, the house dwellers, should not be babysitting the construction site to make sure that things are correct. I don't know how to build a house. That's why I'm paying somebody else to do it. Duh. So why is it my job to make sure you're doing it correctly? I mean, hello? Am I wrong here? Just keep reporting things like you said, it's your money you're spending. Yeah, I will, believe me. But I shouldn't be the one having to worry about this stuff. Like, come on. Okay, so one thing that we had to have them change not too long ago, actually, the bathroom vent, or sorry, the basement bathroom is on one side of the house where all of this venting is happening that I just talked about. So as you're looking at the house, it'll be on the left-hand side. They found the most obscure way to vent all the way up to the main floor and then out of the house. Like, they could have just gone straight up, over, and out. But no. They found as many twists and turns as humanly possible to get this thing out the door. And I'm like, I'm not an expert, but that looks really long. And thank God we actually, we have a family member. Her job is HVAC stuff. And I'm not just talking like little HVAC, like she's part of a massive corporation. She's one of the VPs, They have a lot of people at the top because that's how big this company is. She's on some sort of board, like she travels internationally. She knows her shit. So we sent this to her and she's like, yeah, no, that's bad. So I had to email the guy and be like, look, we have someone that we know, family member, here's her qualifications, yada, yada, yada. This isn't right. And they're trying to charge us $300 to $400 to have it rerouted because they already pull up drywall. Yeah, fighting that one too. Fighting that one as well. Ugh. I'm excited to get into this new house. Don't get me wrong. I cannot wait. And they are ahead of schedule. They are. Love that. But I tell you what, if I keep finding stupid little things wrong that shouldn't be wrong, I'm gonna lose my frickin' mind. I need some zen. I need some zen. Hi, Mama House Gaming. This is why DIY comes in handy. I don't know how to do this stuff. That's why I'm paying them to do it. Anyway, enough about that. Stump Mama's Mama, Kay, Mama House Gaming, Phony, it is great to see you. I hope you've had a good weekend. I hope that you have a fun Monday plan since most places are closed. Here's a hug. Thank you. On the plus side, my wife finished her radiation treatment on Friday, and she got to ring the bell that they have there for cancer patients. So now she just gets to heal. That's her job. She gets to heal. She needs to just take some time and let her body catch up and heal from the constant repeat radiation treatments. So part 1 is done. Part 2 is just the healing, and she hates wearing clothes, which I totally understand. I've been sunburned before, so I understand that feeling. I don't understand it from her perspective. I only understand it from my own experience of being sunburned. But I can't imagine what it's like to be sunburned over and over and over in the same spot on purpose. That's a surreal experience. I cried. Yeah, I almost did. She came out and she was giddy. 16 people were there, with myself included, to be there for the bell ringing. It was pretty amazing. It was pretty cool. A lot of support for that showed up for that moment. What weight lifted off her shoulders, I'm sure. What a breath she can take now. Lots of love sent her way. Thank you, Phony. All right. We have a puzzle. As you can see, another castle puzzle, because we're still on a castle book. I do have a lead on our next book. I'm still working out the details with the author, but I have a lead. But here's your castle puzzle. Looks pretty sweet. Looks pretty sweet. Looks like there's a lot of people visiting. I'm sure it's somewhere in Europe, because that's where all the castles are. Haven't quite figured out where it is yet, but if you do the puzzle and you complete it by the time we're done tonight, it's only 405 pieces. So I made it easier today. I made it easier. I'm so slow getting mine done. Don't worry about it. It's just there is entertainment. Okay? That's all it is. Entertainment. All right. I've got my tea. I've got our book. Got some tunes in the background. I think we're ready. And I've got my yawns. Can't do this without some yawns. Folks, we are on chapter 34 right now. Page 362. And I kept telling you that this book goes to 500 pages, and I was technically incorrect. It's not quite 500, it's 486. So we don't have that much to go, which is crazy. I mean, look how thick this book is. We've read this much right here. We have this much to read. So we're getting there. We really are. But remember, this is only book one. So if you're interested in seeing how the story proceeds after we finish this book, !Kingdom will get you a link. And you can see what else is on the horizon, I guess. And other works in general, if you wish. All right. Silly yawns. I'm going to see if I can take a sip of my tea without burning my mouth. Ooh. And I have a delivery I need to go get. It's at the front door. So I'll probably grab that too real quick, and then we'll get started. Oh, yeah. That is some good stuff. All right. Let me go get this delivery, and then we'll read. Okay, you want to see what I got? You know how I like wine gums, right? Well, the ones that I get in bulk they're close to the original like the real stuff, the name brand stuff, but they're not quite. So I splurged and got the name brand. The green screen is messing with it a little bit, but these are the actual name brand wine gums. And as soon as I took them out of the package, I could smell the fruity flavors. So I'm just going to set those out of the way so I don't just start eating them like a wild dog on screen, okay? All right. Chapter 34 is called A Deadly Touch. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me rant about the house. My venting session. Let's read a book, shall we? Here we go. Sindril dodged a swinging blade, replanted her foot in the sand, and lunged forward with her small sword. She attempted to strike Arthur in the center of his chest plate, but lost her balance again and plummeted to the ground. A spray of sand got inside her shirt and trickled down her chest to her stomach. As she got up, she cursed softly and spit out a small bit of the granular substance and narrowed her eyes at her opponent. We've been at this for hours. I'm not getting any better. I think I'd be better suited to go back and practice healing spells with my mother or Yandra. Arthur clicked his teeth and swung his blade in a circular motion. If you think only learning healing spells is going to be helpful for a battle, then by all means head back to your mother. But you need to be able to protect yourself in the art of combat and weapons. Your brother isn't always going to be there to save you. It's my job as Master at Arms to prepare you for battle. Once you nail this move, you can go back to learn your healing spells. Sindril bit her lip as she tightened her grip around her weapon. It was strange to her being in this position. As a little girl, she'd never so much as touched a blade, let alone learned how to use one. Sure, she'd learned small bits of combat magic from Xyloch, but she'd always seen herself following in her mother's footprints, to be a healing mage. That's what she wanted. She looked upon the pinkish-orange skies. How's your training going, little brother? Are you as miserable as I am? I hope you're able to find a way to save Father. With her thoughts leaving her, she aimed her weapon toward Arthur and got into a battle-ready stance. Okay. Teach me how to perform the move. Arthur nodded and gave her a half-smile. This move will allow you to disarm your opponent and get behind them. Come over here and I'll show you in slow motion one more time. Sindril walked through the sandy training pit toward her teacher and stopped directly before him. I'm ready. Show me how it's done. Arthur held out his sword hand. When you approach your enemy, and they're trying to strike, you need to avoid it by going to the side and grabbing their wrist. Then, fully extend their arm and pop their elbow out of place with a fierce strike. That will allow you to disarm them. After that, use your leg to sweep them off balance. By that time, you should be behind them, and they should be on the ground. Take their limp arm and pull up till the shoulder breaks, and then drive your weapon through their heart. Sindril's eyes opened wide as she thought about taking someone's life. I don't think I could kill anyone. It's not in my nature. I prefer to heal. Arthur sighed and shook his head. The world is a lot darker than you realize, little one. I'm not saying you have to seek out killing someone. But if it's your life or the life of someone you love versus an enemy, what would you do then? Sindril gripped her weapon tighter. The easy answer for her would be to kill the enemy. But deep in her core, she knew she'd still want to help the other person. maybe the enemy is being controlled by someone, and I could figure out a way to save them and myself at the same time. Or maybe I could deter them with words. Mother is really good at that, but I doubt I get that lucky. She sighed as she looked at Arthur. I would make the hard decision and kill them. Precisely, Arthur said, and you wouldn't be wrong for doing it. War is a nasty business. I'm lucky that I haven't been around for any major wars. In my 50 years of life, this is the first true conflict I've been part of. I've only ever trained men and women for battle, but I've had to take lives before, and it was never an easy thing to do. Eventually, the guilt gets easier for some. For others, it eats away at them for a while. Arthur walked over to a wooden barrel and tossed his weapon in it. Fumbling around with the other weapons, he eventually grabbed 2 wooden training swords and chuckled. Enough talk about dark things. I want you to nail this exercise while we still have a bit of daylight left. He tossed one of the swords to her. Now, come at me. Sindril clenched her weapon and sprinted toward Arthur. She remembered each of the steps the man taught her, and this time around she would succeed. As she approached, Arthur swung his sword at her. Sindril parried his strike and grabbed his wrist. Then she extended his arm. Dropping her sword, she took the bottom of her palm and drove it into his elbow. Arthur released a small grunt of pain and dropped his weapon. She took her foot and kicked Arthur's leg closest to her out from underneath him. As he fell, she moved around to his back and pulled his arm straight up and away from him. And for the finishing touch, Sindril dropped her knee into his back, grabbed the wooden training sword next to her, and put it around the front of his neck. Do you yield, sir? She asked playfully. Arthur blew out a sharp breath and chuckled. I yield. Sindril let go of his arm, took her knee off his back, and helped him to his feet. How did I do? Arthur massaged his elbow joint and cracked his neck. Mad Locust, hey there, how are you? Well, you definitely did the move right. You about broke my arm, though. When did you get so strong? Sindril's face went red. I'm sorry, Arthur. I forgot to mention that I did a lot of strength training while on planet Earth. I guess I don't know my own power. All good, thanks? Hey, I'm glad to hear it. It's good to see you. Arthur nodded, crossed his arms, and pointed toward the castle. I'll say. Scurry along now. You'd better get in some healing training before the end of the day. Kairos and Xylark's teams are going to be back in a couple of days, so you've got to take every opportunity to get stronger with the time we have. Sindril leaped forward and hugged the man. See, Arthur, I knew you weren't just a grumpy old man. She giggled as she darted toward the castle. How's the tea this evening? As lovely as ever, I hope? It is. It really is. And I just started drinking Circle water. I finished the kiwi strawberry today, and I just added in a little while ago the blueberry grape. It's pretty good. I'm a fan. I just need to get Circle to sponsor me now. So, Circle, if you're listening, I will be a brand ambassador. They're not listening, but that's okay. Send them an email? I probably will. You never know. Arthur stammered for a moment before getting his words to come out. Oh, old man? I am not old. Get back here, Sindril. See you tomorrow, Arthur. Sindril dashed through the courtyard and up the steps 2 at a time until arriving on the second floor of the castle. She approached the council chambers, knocked twice, and entered. Meridian sat at the end of the meeting table with George, Melandriel, Eva, Captain Smith, and Darrell filling out the other seats. They were in the midst of heavy conversation until the Queen noticed her daughter and motioned her over with a wave. "Hello, love. Did you have a good training session with Arthur?" Meridian kissed her on the forehead and poured a glass of wine for her. Sindril sat, took a sip of the drink, and nodded. "It was fruitful, but I'm ready to work on healing magic now. Can you train me?" Meridian's face softened as she stroked her daughter's hair. "I'm sorry, love. I have to keep planning for the war. I won't have any time to train you. I'm sorry." Sindril dropped her head disappointedly. As she got up to leave the room, she felt her mother's soft touch on her shoulder. "Go ask Yandra to teach you the life drain spell." Sindril scoffed and shrugged her mother's hand away. "I wanted to learn from you. Yandra isn't as strong as you." Meridian chuckled, stood from her seat, and walked her daughter to the door. She turned and kissed her on the forehead once more before motioning toward Yandra's study. "Yandra was my teacher. She may not be as strong as me magically, but she's far wiser than I could ever hope to be. Now, I've got to get back to my meeting." She walked back toward the table, but turned her head to speak her last words. "Study hard, love." Sindril still couldn't believe it. Yandra was her teacher? Once arriving at the study room, she knocked loudly. "Come in," Yandra's cheerful voice rang out. Sindril walked inside and immediately was blinded by wafting gray smoke, flashes of green, red, and purple energy going off in all directions, and a strong smell of caramel. Putting her hand up, she waved it to the side, attempting to clear a path for her vision. "I'm over here, dear," Yandra said, sending up a flash of white light into the air, which popped into tiny sparks. Sindril took a deep breath and made her way over to the woman. The mage sat at a small round table and was poking apples with syringes and dumping a small bit of purple mist on them. "What are you doing?" she asked. Her voice rose with excitement as she approached. Yandra pointed to the apple. "I'm finishing another batch of healing fruit. This is the final touch." She removed the syringe, tossed the apple to the girl, and wiped her hands off on an apron. "How can I help you, my dear?" "A mother told me to have you teach me the life drain spell." Sindril crossed her arms and scowled. "I really wanted to train with her before the battle, but I'm excited to learn from you. I never knew you were my mother's teacher." Yandra stood from her chair. Her 3 silver and gold necklaces dangled and clanked as she moved to the other side of the cluttered room. "I was indeed your mother's teacher, as well as your grandmother. But that's a story for another time." She set the syringe down on the counter and grabbed a leather-bound book from the cabinet. Bringing it over, she set it on the table and flipped a quarter of the way through before pointing to the page. "Aha! Here it is. Come over here and I'll teach you a bit about the spell before we begin." Sindril sat down at the table and looked at the book. The pages were slightly tattered and torn at the corners. The parchment looked as though it had seen better days. She tilted her head and studied the image of a human body with a bunch of circles highlighted in red. One was in the heart, another couple beneath the ribs, one in the brain, and the others spread around the nerve endings. "What are all these dots?" Yandra's hand exuded pink light, and she tapped Sindril on the wrist. "Try to form a ball of energy in your hand." Sindril did as instructed. She focused on her magical energy and forced it down her right arm. The veins on her forearm lit up magenta, but stopped 2 inches before her wrist. She felt a sharp sting in her palm and yelped. No energy manifested, not even a spark. "What did you do to me?" Yandra pointed to the image of the human body in the book. "Each of those red dots you see are your body's reserve magic cells. When your body fills up on energy from the earth, it sits in your heart. Your super Akin super bro. 22 months? Holy crap. Dude, thank you so much. That is super kind of you. And I'm going to lose my page if I don't put the bookmark in. Cheers to you. That was amazingly kind. Thank you. You know what that means? We need to spin the wheel of destiny. Or a workout. Missed your face. How have you been? I've been good. I've been good. Thank you. 5 push-ups. All right. Let's see if I can... Hey, I got it. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. I was about to shout out Super SB, but that won't work. However, man, y'all need a shorter name. Folks, go check out the After Hours Broalition, which Super is a part of. He and his 2 other brothers. Not quite as handsome as Super, though. Stream there together. Part of a trio brotherly stream team. It's adorable. No, seriously. Clipping it, great. Never see the other 2 again now. Thank you for continuing your sub. I sincerely appreciate it. And we have 5 push-ups on the board, so we'll get those taken care of here in a little bit. And of course, I've lost my place. So that's good. Yes, enjoy the puzzle. Let's see. All right, it sits in your heart. Yes, earth magic stores sits in your heart. Okay, we're good. Your blood is your life force from magic, and the heart pumps it through your body when you command it to. It's also why some use forbidden techniques and draw sigils on their body with their blood. Sigils, I can read. Syndral's eyes open wide. Psylocke did that once when I was a little girl. I didn't realize that's what he was doing. Or that's why he was doing it. Yandra nodded. Indeed. When you place your blood... Excuse me. When you place your blood on the outside of your body, it allows you to draw extra power from the earth. You skip the process of drawing magic into your body when you do that, which is why many people think it's dark magic. It isn't, though, but it takes a lot of strength and will to do those spells properly without killing yourself. Syndral stood and put her hand on her hips as she pondered all the new information. So, this is the life drain spell? No, it's not. Syndral threw her hand in the air and pouted with her lips. But I thought you were going to... I'm teaching you something much more difficult and useful. Yandra narrowed her eyes and put a hand to her chin. Are you willing to work hard and learn the blocker spell? Yes. I'm ready to learn. Syndral gave her teacher a wide smile. I hope you're learning as much as I am, brother. I can't wait to show you this awesome spell. Yandra closed the book and placed it back in the cabinet. She held out her hand. Come here. It's time to learn the basics. I'll have you practice on me. Sindral came over and shook out her right hand, which still felt numb. Her teacher placed a glowing pink hand on her wrist, and immediately Sindral felt normal again. So, with this spell, you're able to close off access to someone's magic altogether? Or only certain parts? And can you reverse the spell as well? Yandra grabbed Sindral's hand and smiled. You're so much like your mother. She asked just as many questions at your age. The short answer is yes. I can reverse any blocker spell I put on someone. When closing off someone's ability to use magic, you have to hit vital points in the body. Our hands are what we use to form spells, create signs, or focus where we want our power to go. If you use the blocker spell on someone's wrist, as I did to you, they won't be able to exude power from their hands. However, if someone is gifted enough with their magic, they can use their eyes. When I was a young mage, I was traveling through the dead zone and came across someone who had the ability to inflict horrifying vertigo and other visual prowess through his eyes alone. If I wouldn't have met that individual, I would be here telling you that using the blocker spell on someone's wrist should be enough. However, in the world we live in today, and the rumors of magical stones from the storybooks being used by the Dark Council of Lord Malice, I think it's best if I teach you how to use the blocker spell to shut off someone's ability to use magic throughout their entire body. The spell only lasts for an hour, though. So, what do I do then? Sindral became worried as she thought about turning someone's ability to use magic off. She couldn't help it. Kindness was in her nature, and doing anything besides helping or healing was unnatural to her. This spell won't kill someone, right? And what if someone was using dark magic? Would this spell even stop them? Yandra sighed and put her arm around the girl. If someone's using dark magic, then no. You won't be able to stop them. However, just because someone's using dark magic doesn't mean they aren't using normal magic as well. Darkness takes a toll on the user, so usually they will take a break from using it here and there. Or for another example, Lord Zalron. With his purple crystal shard that Meridian filled me in about, if he's using that for his magic, he'll probably still use his own natural energy from time to time. Everything has a limit. Sindral shook her head. I don't think Zalron has a limit. He's able to use so much power. Yandra chuckled. I know, dear, but I'm saying this in the general sense. So, if you were going to shut down someone's magic abilities, you'd need to use the blocker spell on their heart. I want you to practice on me. Sindral nodded and shook out her arms. Okay, what's the first step? Yandra pointed to her own chest. You need to place your hand over my heart and force your magic into me. Think of it as putting an energy prison on my heart. It will stop the flow of power in my body, but not normal bodily functions like blood flow and breathing. Sindral prepared herself mentally. You can do this. Just take a deep breath and focus. Remember, you're not killing anyone. You're only stopping their flow of magic. Placing her hand over her teacher's heart, she focused intently and pushed her power into Yandra. She pictured her energy wrapping itself around the woman's heart and forming a prison. Suddenly, her hand began vibrating intently and her eyes stung. Biting her lip from the pain, she did her best to ignore it
and keep her energy flowing evenly. Unfortunately, it didn't help. A sharp sting came from the center of her palm, and she pulled her hand back and scoffed. I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. Yandra smiled, put a hand on the girl's head, and talked in a smooth and comforting voice. You have to keep a clear mind, child. If you start becoming worried or anxious, then the spell won't work. She put her arm around the girl's back and led her to the table. As a healing or battle mage, our spells rely heavily on us having clear thoughts and clean hearts. Sometimes it's difficult to do, but once you manage your emotions better, you'll be a stronger mage than I or your mother. Sindril tilted her head and swallowed a small grin to come across her face. You really think so? I do. Yandra looked around the room as if trying to find something important she'd forgotten about. She bobbed her head after a few moments of searching and motioned toward the table. How about we take a small break and work on some small healing spells for the rest of the night? You can even help get the rest of my healing fruits made. We'll come back to the blocker spell tomorrow. You did really well for your first day. Sindril wanted to keep working on the blocker, but she knew Yandra was right. Already she could sense inside her body that she used a lot of energy just attempting the new spell, and she was in no way prepared to continue for the rest of the night. Sitting down at the table, she gave her teacher a thumbs up and prepared for her next lesson. She sighed as she thought about her brother. Keep safe, Eliath, and study hard. It's time we make our parents proud. Yandra brought over another small book with pink and red flowers on a spine. Time to learn something new, my dear. Are you ready? Sindril threw a fist into her open palm. Let's do it. And that is the end of chapter 34. Master Corgi, hey, how's it hanging? It's going good. How are you? It's good to see you. Oh. Yep. Mitchell. I will drink. This tea is really good. Yes? Sneaking into the puzzle. I see you. I see you. So, I've had one of these for a while. Little, I forget what you call them, but sand thingy-me-bobbies. You haven't seen those since the 70s? Well, you're seeing it right now, and it's 2024. The question is, if I set it on my desk and use my other camera pointed at it, then you won't be able to see me when I do the things like push-ups and squats and, you know, all those wonderful things. What do you mean it's just little old me? Don't you dare say that again. You are wonderful. I wondered what happened to that. You haven't shown it in a while. I haven't had a good way to show it. That's the problem. So, yeah, I'm not sure how to get this freaking thing on camera. I know that after I move, I'll have, well, I should say, once I've moved and everything is set up correctly, I won't use a green screen anymore. I'll probably still use it until I'm officially set up and ready, but
Yeah, once the time comes, I won't need the green screen, and then I can have stuff like this behind me and hopefully in focus. But the problem is, I just don't have a good place to show it off here. And it annoys me because I would love to have it on camera. Especially because, you know, I mean, it literally gives off that calming vibe just to watch it all fall. For example, if I do that, we can now sort of see it and my reflection. Hey. Just got to figure out how to maybe hold on. Don't stare at the camera, it's going to get weird. What if I did something like this? It's like it's too close. I don't know. That's my problem. I just don't know. And then it gives off that weird reflection thing, which... What do you guys think? Is it worth trying to figure out? Because I will try and figure it out if you think it's worth it. I will. The hole for adding and removing air is up here. And I'm definitely going to have to mess with it some more. They're very finicky. They are super finicky. No, I lost it. There it is. Oops, I just whacked the mic. Sorry. We have to wait for you to set up at the new house. Yeah, I was worried about that. Before I forget, because I meant to say this last time, Master Corgi that is in here right now, Corgi has actually hired me to be a character in a Minecraft show on YouTube. I am the voice of Owen. Corgi, if you have the link to the YouTube channel for the show, can you post that in here so that we can share it with everybody? I don't have the link on hand. If Corgi's still here, I'm not even sure. Corgi. Corgi.
Hello?
But yeah, I play the voice of a character called Owen, part of a Minecraft YouTube show. It's very cleverly made. Yeah, so it's been really fun working on that and kind of, you know, seeing how everything develops. And I'd love to share it with you all so you can kind of take a look for yourself. But I need the link because I don't have it. I'd love for you to see it. Delicious. Once this sand thing, I've forgotten what they're even called. It's almost done. I'm going to flip it over and then start the next chapter because then at least it'll be, you know, on a fresh setup. What? I forget what it's called. Hey man, lurking for a little bit. Thank you, Sun Papa. I appreciate you. New server starts tomorrow. It's going to be awesome. Once human, rah, rah, rah. Look how cool this is. I love it. I love all the different details of the mountainous feel that you get out of the sand. I tried signing up, but I couldn't do anything to get signed up. Like when you click it, nothing happens, or what? Do you get an error, or like what do you see on the screen? I tried selecting the server, but it didn't appear. That's not good. I see you firing it up now. Good. Okay. Yeah, keep me apprised. Because we want to make sure you get in there, you know? That way we can go shoot stuff together. All right. Let me move this camera a little bit, since it's going to be on screen. There we go. Chapter 35 is called The Crystal City of Tytalis. If I remember correctly, that's where Xyloch and Eliath and Ezra were headed. Eliath stretched as he stared out at the sunrise. The crystal clear sea reflected the morning glory with sparkling hints of red and yellow. He smiled as he took a bite of his bacon and thought about the previous night. He'd gotten to help Xyloch and Ezra with Brella's water filtration project, followed by a wonderful meal around a fire. And to top everything off, he got to sleep under the stars, which was something he hadn't done in a long time. Xyloch strolled up to him, with Ezra and Brella close behind. "You ready to go, lad?" Eliath shoved the rest of the bacon into his mouth and nodded. "I can't wait. The city sounds like it's going to be breathtaking." Ezra gave Brella a hug before coming over to his comrades. "I hope your journey back home is safe, and I hope we meet again someday." "Hey, Ash. How are ya?" Eliath stepped forward and embraced her before smiling goofily and bowing. "Until next time, my lady." Brella stepped out to the edge of the bridge. "I'm glad we met. Thump." "Thank you for the look, sir." "Remember what I said, Xyloch. Anytime you need me, you come to the Bone Coral Refuge." "Indeed," Xyloch said jubilantly. "Tired and folding laundry. Well, you've come to the right place. Not for the laundry part, though. I can't help you there. I did enough myself today. Thank you very much." "You all take care. Until next time." Why does the music keep stopping? With her last words, she jumped off the bridge. "No!" Eliath screamed as he rushed forward. When he looked down at the water, he saw Brella standing on top of a whale. He started laughing uncontrollably and pointed at her. "I knew I wasn't losing my mind yesterday. You never said you could breathe underwater." Okay, seriously? Pretzel? Oh. It's working now. Cool. Reminds me that I need to do laundry soon-ish. Soon-ish. Ish is the key word. There we go. Brella cupped her hands around her mouth. You never asked. Good luck, boys. Zylock chuckled as he put his arms around his students. Well, I'll be. It's like something out of Moby Dick. Eliath tilted his head with confusion. What's Moby Dick, Professor? Yeah, PV 131 isn't showing up on the list. Fuck. I hope they're just doing like a maintenance thing. Because I just saw it a few hours ago. God damn it. It better not be full already. I swear to God. Let me see if I can invite you. After stream, Stump Papa, I will check that out. Zylock shook his head disappointedly. Didn't you ever read a book on Earth, young master? Shrugging, Eliath tried his best to recall the books he read. I read some, but I preferred watching movies and anime. Oh, no, you're good. It's never an interruption when I'm chatting with my pals. Zylock raised an eyebrow and smirked. Only degenerates and ingrates watch anime. Eliath put up his hands and scoffed. You and me right now, old man. I'll decimate you. In your wildest dreams, boy. Zylock snorted and grabbed his pipe from his side bag. Ezra shook his head back and forth and rolled his eyes. You two are seriously like an old married couple. You know that, right? And that would make you the third wheel, right? Zylock bumbled with laughter and slapped the man on the back. Taking a puff of his pipe, the wizard's face reverted to normal as he grabbed their arms. On a more serious note, it's time we get to our destination. Hold tight. In the blink of an eye, the trio stood in between two mountains on a beaten-down dirt trail. Eliath peered forward. Small glimmers and sparkles shot off in different parts of the sky, but he didn't know what they were. Zylock, can you do that vision thing again? Do you mean Eagle Eye? Yes. And by the way, will you teach me how to do that? Eliath remembered back on Earth what it felt like when the old man had used the visual magic. It was like nothing he'd ever experienced before, and ever since that day, he'd wanted to learn the spell. I'll teach you, but not today. Just have a little patience, young master. We're nearly there. Zylock pointed a finger forward. It's just up there. Eliath remained patient, although it wasn't easy for him. He'd always been the eager type who wanted to see the new things immediately. He took after his father in that aspect. But sure enough, just as the old man had said, within a few minutes, Eliath was able to make out a towering wall made of glimmering silver crystals and stones. His heart beat faster, and he started moving quicker, but his cousin pulled him back. Take a deep breath, Ezra said. The city isn't going anywhere. I'm sure we'll have some time to explore later. Zylock led them to a large iron gate, greeted by guards. Hello, good sirs. We're here to see my friend Belgazar. One of the guards turned his head to his comrade and whispered something inaudible, then turned back to the wizard. What is your name, sir? I am Zylock Grey. Belgazar knows me. I've been here many times. He beamed at them and took a drag of his pipe. The guard nodded sharply and opened the gate. I know your name, so you're clear to enter. Please, enjoy your time in Titalis. Also, there's an ad starting soon. Just keep that in mind. Eliath nodded to the guards as they entered. At first, he didn't realize he was looking at something real.
Everything looked as though it were out of a storybook. The houses, buildings, surrounding mountains, and even the castle itself was made of crystal. Looking up and down the street, he took in all the different colors. Some buildings were jade, others pink, some blue, and his favorite was the purple food shack. Of course, because food was involved. His nose always found where the delicious snacks were, but for once he wasn't hungry. He was mesmerized. Countless people walked up and down the streets, hauling wagons full of different minerals and different shaped crystals. Turning to his cousin, he caught the man with wide open eyes and a gaping mouth. Chuckling, Eliath nudged him. "What do you think? This is pretty incredible, isn't it?" "That would be an understatement." Ezra took a deep breath and ran a hand through his hair. "This is heavenly." "I knew you boys would like this place," Zylok said excitedly. "All these people running up and down the streets are workers. They mine crystals and bring them to the craftsmen, who put them on weapons or carve them into specific designs for jewelry. Then there are the crystals that Balgazar has brought to the castle, where he separates them into different classes of magic. From there, he goes around and sells them to magic users, kings, assassins, or whoever wants them." Eliath scrunched up his nose. "I've always wondered about this old man. Why would someone sell anything to an assassin? Aren't they evil? Silent killers?" Zylok chuckled and slapped the boy on the back. There's a lot of backslapping in this story, I've noticed. "No, lad. It's a title, just like anything else. You see, I know you've been told in your life that all assassins are good for is infiltration and silent killing. You've probably been told that they are bad people too. But that's all false. Some of the best people I know are assassins. They are just better at silent killing than anyone else. However, they are strong with magic." "I assume pirates are still bad, right?" Ezra asked. Zylok blew out a puff of smoke and shrugged. "I suppose people are what they make themselves. I'm sure there are some good pirates out there who just want to sail the seas and find treasure. But there are pirates like the ones we ran into at the bridge who just want to kill people. There are good and bad people in the world, boys. It's all about what you choose to be. And that brings me back to assassins. When we get to Vasilius, you'll get the chance to meet some of the Balthagar assassins, and you'll see what I mean." Eliath felt satisfied with the wizard's answer and saved his other question for later, because directly before him was a towering three-spire castle made of gold, silver, and black crystals. He wanted nothing more than to climb on top and look out at the rest of the city. "Is this where Balgazar is?" "Amlas. Hello, my ducks. Surfman. Excuse me, sir, how are we?" Disregard my spelling. "Surfman, it has been ages since I've seen you. How the heck are you?" "And Amlas, it is great to see you. Welcome back." "Surfman, I always wondered what happened to you. You moved to Bali?" "I'm sorry, what?" "Huh? What time is it for you right now?" "That's crazy." "I mean, good for you, though. That's awesome. Like, it's a good kind of crazy, if you know what I mean." "Moved to Bali?" "No kidding. Huh. Well, I'm glad to see you, sir. It's been a hot minute since your name has graced the screen that I've been on. I am very glad to see you. I hope the move to Bali has, been smooth whenever that happened. Hopefully you're all settled at this point. It's in the AM? Yeah, I bet it is, because it's 7 p.m. for me, just after, so I imagine you're probably just getting up or something. Wow, move to Bali. That's crazy. 8 a.m., okay. Living in the future. I like it. Well, hey man, I am so glad to see you, because it's been a while. As you've noticed, my name has changed. I'm no longer Atkinson 1020. I am the Bookfather. Decided to change it up? Yeah, you did. Some people change it up by moving to another city in the same state. You moved to Bali. I hope you like it. I really do. I miss you too. It's been too long. I'm glad you're here. I don't know what you're going to get up to this morning, but we're doing what we do best. We're reading a book. We're hanging out. You'll always be Atkinson to me. I know, Stepmama's mama. I know. And that's okay. Besides, it would feel weird for you to call me the book daddy. Don't make it weird. It's only weird if you say it's weird. Or would it? All right, I'm going to get back to the story. We'd be daddies together? Yeah. Oh, man. We're on page 376, by the way, which means there's just over 100 pages left, which is kind of crazy. Oh, where did we leave off? No, really, where did we leave off? Oh, yeah, Eliath was like, is this where Belgazar is? Bull boy, book daddy, yeah, a little awkward. It's not awkward at all. Okay, it's fine. What would make it awkward is if I were a pool boy in a Speedo. That would be awkward for both of us because I'm not wearing a Speedo. Oh, God. I'm going to stop now and go back to reading. Is this what Belgazar is? Yes, lad. Zylok walked in front of them and put his hands on their shoulders. I want you to let me do most of the talking. It's important that we figure out how to beat Zalron while we're here. Anything related to training can wait. Do you understand? Understood, they both said. What I'm hearing is that you don't want any tips from customers then? All right, fine. I'll wear a frickin' Speedo. Just let me choose the color. Zylok led them inside the castle to a large, open common room. Huge glowing crystals hung from the ceiling and bathed the area in golden light. On each of the walls sat 10-foot-high frame paintings of different warriors, kings, and heroes of Dun Nahar. You sick bastard. I like it. Eliath recognized a couple of them from history books and eventually found one of Zylok. He smiled at the sight of everything. In the middle of the room sat a mahogany table shaped like the country. The design was flawless and even had a glossy finish on the top. Eliath had been so distracted by everything around him. Right. Eliath had been so distracted by everything around him that he missed 3 individuals sitting at the table. One of them he recognized as Belgazar, but the other 2 he had no clue about. Belgazar finally noticed them and stood, arms extended. Well, well. If it isn't Zylock Grey, Eliath, Zane, and... He paused for a moment as he studied the other man. I'm not sure if I know who you are, lad. I'm Eliath's cousin, Ezra Zane. It's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Ezra bowed his head respectfully. And I took a drink of tea, because Stunt Papa redeemed a hydrate. What color Speedo should Atkinson wear? Okay. Why is that not doing anything?
Super SB asked me,
There we go.
what color Speedo should Atkinson wear? Atkinson should definitely go for something bold, like bright red or electric blue. Those colors scream confidence. Plus, they'd probably make a statement during the stream, assuming they don't get too distracted trying to read and accidentally mess up the lines. Just picture it. And the great, wait, is that a classic?
Well, it's a good thing we don't trust AI yet. Good God. I assume it would be the British flag. Oh, that's a great idea. It'd be great to see the Union Jack go right up my ass crack. Right. I was going to say Queen and Country, but it's not Queen anymore. For King and Country. The witty craftsman chuckled and came forth to shake the boy's hand. It's nice to meet you. Please, all of you, take a seat. I'd like for you to meet my
All right,
guests.
everyone. This is the first announcement of the Pool Daddy cleaning services. I will be servicing every customer in a Speedo color of their choice. I am here to meet all of your pool-based needs. Just call me or send me a steamy DM and I will be on my way for King and Country.
I noticed you said, I'll be servicing every customer. I will be servicing the customer's pool. Just, making that notation there. It was your voice, you tell me. I mean, if the money's right. If the money's right. Everyone has a price. We're not going to get this chapter finished anytime now. Lord Zoran Stark and one of the 4 warlocks of the land, Barden Lorwell. Once again, I didn't mean to start anything. And yet, here we are, sighs Queen. Eliath immediately became giddy. He looked the man up and down. Barden was a beefy man, seemed tall, even sitting down. I need to count my money. Oh, God. My PayPal link is right below. That's all I'm saying. His short, spiky black hair faded to gray toward his temples, and his blue eyes were piercing ice blue. Looking to Zoran, Eliath studied him as well. The man wasn't nearly as large as his comrade, but made up for it with his charming good looks. Even with the 2 scars on his face, one went sideways across his forehead, and the other down across his right eye to his jawbone. Even his damaged eye maintained its hazel color, and he took after his comrade with short, jet black hair. Eliath kept his hands folded and remained silent as he sat next to Zylock. Hubba hubba. The old wizard took a great sword out of his side bag and placed it on the table for all to see. I've come to ask you for your help, Belgazar. And since Barden is here too, I may be able to get some other questions answered as well. My first concern is figuring out how to beat Zolron. The man continues to come back after we kill him, and I'm not sure how we stop him. Belgazar walked over to the counter behind him and brought over a tray of goblets with a pitcher of wine. He poured everyone a drink and passed them around before speaking. Barden and I were just discussing this before you arrived. You had ironic timing getting here when you did. Zolron is a soul jumper. When his corporeal form gets destroyed, his soul goes back to the Darkstone and eventually gets released to him to find another host. So, believe it or not, it's pretty simple to destroy him once and for all. You seal his soul into whatever body he's in, and then kill him. However, I imagine you'll have to get him pretty weak before you'll have any shot of using a triagran sealing formation. Zylok took a sip of wine and motioned to the weapon. Do you think I could use this sword to weaken him? You said you thought it was a shard of the Allstone. I still don't believe the Allstone exists, but I'm willing to have an open mind. Barden cleared his throat and entered the conversation. I assure you, the Allstone is real. Belgazai and I were both there when Lord Malice used it against the allied forces of Tyronia. The dragon god had a right-hand man named Korath, who made off with the Allstone, so we weren't able to destroy it that day. Eliath raised a hand and, against his better judgment, spoke. I'm sorry, but I'm confused. You're saying Allstone, but Belgazar just mentioned something about a Darkstone. Barden shot him a piercing glare. This is a conversation for the adults. Keep your mouth shut. Belgazar raised a hand and chuckled. Easy, Barden, not Brandon. Eliath is a welcome guest just like you. Please, treat him kindly as you would me or Zylok. Barden breathed in deeply and let out an irritated sigh. Very well. I'll answer your question, child. After Malice was sealed away, Eliath cleared his throat and let out a nervous laugh. I'm sorry, you say sealed away? I thought Malice was killed. Barden rolls his eyes and slammed a fist onto the table. If you remain silent for long enough for me to speak, I'd explain everything. No. Malice isn't dead. He's in a prison. After Malice was imprisoned, me, Callan, Pyrus, and Kai went searching for Korath. We were desperate to find the Allstone to destroy it, so nothing bad would happen to our planet ever again. Barden aimed his hand up and released a flash of red light which flooded the room. Soon, images of what he was explaining appeared as if they were all standing in the scene. We found out that Korath had formed a dark council for the Dragon God, and they were using the Allstone to break their master out of his prison. You see, Malice was smart. He figured out a way to tether the Allstone to his cosmic prison. The more the magic artifact is used, the weaker his prison becomes. We weren't going to allow that to happen. So, we hunted the Dark Council members down to the ends of the earth. We weren't able to catch any of them, but we were able to fight Korath. The bastard thought he was going to destroy us. But there was one thing he wasn't prepared for. One of the elder gods ended up having a child with someone on Tyronia. She was gifted with a unique power. She had the ability to destroy the Allstone. We brought her with us for that fight, and we almost won. But Robin got hurt. She was only able to separate the Allstone into 3 separate parts. They later became known as the Darkstone, the Elder Infinity Stone, and the Godstone. We made off with 2 of them, but Koroth maintained his hold on the Darkstone and got away. Barden snapped his fingers, and the energy disappeared. He downed his glass of wine and let out a deep sigh. Are you happy now, boy? He narrowed his eyes at Eliath, but eventually showed the faintest hint of a half smile. Eliath bowed his head respectfully. Thank you, sir. I enjoyed hearing your story. Leaning back in his chair, he grabbed his cup of wine and took a slow sip. Malice is alive, he thought angrily. That means he's been the one pulling all the strings. We can't let that monster ever get free. Zylok pointed to the sword. So, if that is a shard of the Allstone from before it was separated, would I be able to use it to weaken Zalron? Sorry, I have a message I just need to check. Okay. Belgazar moved his lips back and forth for a moment before clicking his teeth. Hypothetically, yes. But there's also the chance he could simply stop anything you throw at him once he has his own crystal shard. I think your best bet is to get a good-sized army and get back to Targus. Fight him with everything you have until the beast is weak. Then you can use the sealing spell to finish him off. Is it just me, or is Sindral gonna play a very important role with this blocking spell that she's learning? Sounds like it might have, imminent use. Zylok nodded gratefully, removed his pipe from his bag, and began puffing on it again. Do you have anything that could help us, my friend? Belgazar got to his feet and went toward a dark hall in the corner of the room. As a matter of fact, I do. You gentlemen stay here and visit amongst yourselves. I won't be long. Zoran rolled his head in a circle and raised an eyebrow. So, Zylok, you ready to go another round? Only if you're ready to lose again, boy. Zylok bumbled with laughter. Barden snorted and stood to his full height of 7'5". He crossed his arms as he addressed the old wizard. How about you fight me? Yes, I've heard of you throughout my years. I may be somewhat of a hermit these days, but I still know everything that happens in this land. What do you say? Want to go a couple of rounds? Zylok stood, crossed his arms, and gave the man a smirk. I'd rather eat horse dung. I appreciate the offer, but I've got better things to do with my time than spar with the likes of you. I'd heard rumors about the kind of man you were from Pyrrhus, but I wanted to make the judgment for myself. You truly are an arrogant, nasty piece of work. Well, talk about pleasantries. Silvery red energy exploded off Barden's body as he jumped over the table to stand before the wizard. How dare you speak to me that way? I'm one of the 4 warlocks of the land. Yes, I know what you are. But it doesn't excuse your behavior toward Eliath. He is my family, and a kind-hearted young man. Zylok kept his arms crossed, but narrowed his eyes to slits. That's because children irritate me. They have no business sitting at the same table as warriors. Barden grabbed Zylok's shoulders and squeezed. Eliath stood abruptly and powered his gauntlets up. He pointed his fingers at the warlock. You want to fight someone? Grandpa? Fight me. He means the both of us. Ezra stood and came to his cousin's side. No one treats our family like this. Zoran's eyes opened wider. He crossed one of his legs over the other and took a sip of wine. Well, this will surely be interesting. Zylock turned to the boys and shook his head. You don't want to pick this fight, lads. Trust me, you can't handle him. Eliath slammed a fist into his open palm. I don't give two flying bats. This fool wants to pick a fight with our family? Then we will show him why House Zane is the strongest. Barden removed his grip from Zylock and began barking madly with laughter. You two brats think you can take me in a duel? Really? Fine. Come at me then. I'll even go easy on you. He removed his fire-red cloak and tossed it to the ground. Eliath could see the man's sculpted muscles visibly now that the man only wore a black short-sleeved shirt. Something even more interesting was tattoos that covered both of the man's arms. The symbols seemed weird to Eliath. They were almost like random lines crossing each other. It wasn't like any artwork he'd ever seen before. He knew he most likely wouldn't win the fight, but he wanted to try nonetheless. Giving his cousin a nod, they both phased and landed on opposite sides of the warlock. Eliath materialized glowing jade chains and attached them to the man's legs, arms, chest, and neck. Aiming his hands at the ground, he formed 3 stone slabs for his cousin. Ezra slammed his hands atop of the rocks and turned them into iron arrowheads. Releasing emerald energy whips, he attached them to his weapons and flung them at the warlock. Barden screamed, held his hand to the side, and loosed a shockwave of wind and energy. The tattoos on his arms lit up red. He aimed his hand at his opponents and shot 2 blasts of crimson energy at them. It wrapped around their bodies and lifted them into the air. Barden ripped the chains off his body and walked over to his suspended opponents. Did you really think you had a chance at beating me? Laughing, he slammed his fists into both of them and sent them flying across the room. Eliath's whole body cried out in pain as he slammed into a wall. As he forced himself upright, his vision blurred for a moment, but he could still see Zylock going towards the warlock. Eliath attempted to get up, but when he moved just an inch, he felt like all the physical and magical energy was gone from one blow. Is he seriously that powerful? Is that the strength the 4 warlocks of the land possess? Slumping back against the wall, he looked over to his cousin, who was slumped over and unconscious. Looking down to his gauntlets, he realized they were full of power, so he activated them and forced himself to his feet. He walked to his master and stood proudly. Are you okay, young master? Zylock asked concerningly. Eliath nodded and slammed a fist to his open palm. I'm hurting, but I'll manage. Barden somehow removed all the magical energy in my body. Barden cracked his neck and smiled crookedly. I told you you didn't have a chance against me. Zylock put his arms around his student. Why don't we just end this foolishness and go our separate ways? There's no need for comrades to fight with each other. Eliath threw his hands up in protest. You're going to let him walk away after how he talked to us? Yes, lad. I don't want to fight him. Barden took another step closer and clicked his teeth. So, you're a coward as well as a fool, eh? Zylock clenched his jaw, turned to Eliath, and pointed toward Ezra. Go check on your cousin. I'm going to teach this bastard a lesson. This should be interesting. Eliath nodded and rushed to his cousin. He put a hand on the man's shoulder and shook him gently. Are you okay? Ezra groggily opened his eyes and groaned. What happened? We got destroyed. That's what happened. But Zylock's about to fight him. He took a seat next to his cousin and watched as the fight unfolded. The old wizard took off his cloak, removed his shirt, and grabbed a dagger out of his side bag. Holding out his hand, he cut it, squeezed hard to draw out more blood, and began marking his body with lines and circles. Once completed with his ritual, he smirked at his opponent. You know, Barden, I was planning on letting all of this go. But one calls me a coward. Wait. Oh, I see. But no one calls me a coward. No one. The word no was missing in the sentence. It threw me off there for a second. The giant warlock snarled as he removed his shirt, revealing a tattoo which covered most of his torso. A huge, burning sun with 3 arrows piercing through the middle. The lines of the sun's heat wrapped around the shoulders and down his arms. You are a coward. You've been around for thousands of years and you still don't understand how magic truly works. You probably think you're the cleverest and wittiest man alive. And that could be true, but you're still blind to the truth. Zylok narrowed his eyes and clasped his hands together. And what truth is that? Barden snapped his fingers, causing his entire tattoo to light up red. That you're destined to fail, just like all who've tried before you. If you're smart, you'll go back home and enjoy the time you have left with your family. We're all just pawns in someone else's game. And eventually, all the pieces will be wiped off the board. Zylok's blood markings lit up purple. He grew to match Barden both in height and muscle. Charging forward, he slammed his fist into the man's face, sending him flying into the wall. Aiming his hands at the ground, he shot forth twin beams of powerful lightning. The floor rumbled violently as 2 lightning golems rose and charged at the warlock. They grabbed the man, kicked him, punched him, and sent him soaring back to Zylok. The wizard grabbed Barden's throat and punched him in the gut. You're the coward. You won't fight because you think we're doomed to fail? The future isn't set in stone. It's formed by the choices we make here and now. What could have happened to you to make you this old, degenerate nomad? Where's the famous King Barden Lowell of Valhalla from the storybooks? A proud member of the 4 warlocks of the land and a true warrior. Zylok released his throat and punched him again, sending him flying into the lightning golem's waiting grip. The old wizard lunged forward and loosed 4 quick punches, each gaining a small grunt from the warlock. Take back your dignity, sir. Fight with us. Zylok struck him again. Fight with us. Fight. Barden lifted his head, held his arms out to one side, and released a powerful scream. A shockwave of wind and red energy shot out and shattered every window in the room. Clenching his fists, a horrifying black flame with white outlines engulfed his entire body and disintegrated the lightning golems. His eyes glowed red as he came towards Zylok. You want me to fight with you? Piss on that. He leaped forward and slammed his fist into the old wizard's chest. Onyx flames surrounded the man and started burning his skin. Barden slammed his hand against Zylok's ribs, his fingers penetrating flesh. Lifting Zylok into the air, he squeezed hard until the audible sounds of bones breaking sounded off. He scowled as he tossed the man into the wall. Eliath's jaw dropped. He never expected the warlock to harm Zylok so harshly. I wish I could do something to help him, but I'm too weak. Oh, come on, Zylok, get up. Zylok's body exuded more purple energy. Rising into the air, he channeled colossal balls of lightning and fire around his fists and aimed at his opponent. With a loud scream, he shot forth twin beams of power. Barden snarled and sent forth his own beams of black and red fire. The two attacks met in the middle of the room with a concussive boom. Barden's fire gained the upper ground and began swallowing the old wizard's lightning. It moved quicker and quicker before a loud voice shouted out, "That's enough of that!" 12 crystals of different colors soared through the air and released powerful energy beams, trapping each of the two opponents in a separate, square-shaped prison. The onyx fire and purple lightning faded away, and Belgazar revealed himself. His fingers were extended, each of them exuding a different color of light. "What in the blazes do you think you are doing? I leave for 10 minutes, and you turn on each other?" Barden slammed his fist against the barrier shield and snarled like a wild dog. "That old fool wanted to talk down to me and—" Belgazar held up a hand. "I don't want to hear it, Barden." He turned to Zoran and narrowed his eyes. "What happened here, lad?" Zoran stood from his seat and strolled over to the middle of the two entrapped men. He took one look at Barden and shook his head back and forth disappointedly. He pointed an accusing finger at the warlock. "Barden here talked poorly about Eliath and his family. He then took it upon himself to fight them." A look of sadness came across the warlock's face. "My student, why would you betray me like this? I thought I had your loyalty." Zoran stared at his teacher with profound sadness. "That's the thing, Master. I always thought you were a good man, but you've never gone out of your kingdom with me once until now. I didn't think you were capable of such behavior, and due to this, I believe from this day forth, I will be training with Pyrrhus." Belgazar crossed his arms. "Do you have anything to say for yourself, Barden?" The warlock scoffed and spat on the ground. "You're all pathetic. Good luck trying to win your—" Belgazar snapped his fingers. From within Barden's energy prison, bright white light shone, becoming exponentially brighter by the second until it stopped and revealed nothing but emptiness. He aimed at Xylok's prison and released the man, then made his way to the counter and poured a glass of wine. He leaned his back against the wall and blew out a breath of relief. "I didn't expect the man to go off his hinges. I apologize for that. Hopefully he'll behave better the next time he visits here." Eliath rushed over to Xylok and hugged him. "Old man, are you okay?" He stepped back and studied the 5 bloody holes by his ribs. "You need a healing apple." Belgazar waved his hand back and forth and held up an aqua crystal with his other. "Put this inside your wound, old friend." He gave it to the old wizard with a sly grin. Xylok took it and placed it into one of the wounds. A bright flash of blue light flooded his body before each of the bloody punctures sealed. He studied his stomach and let out a slow breath. "Thank you. I'm glad you keep those healing crystals around." Belgazar nodded and took a small black bag from his pants pocket and handed it over. "These should help you in your fight. Keep them safe until you need them. I'm truly sorry Barden treated you so poorly. He's been like that ever since Callan died." Eliath put his arm around his cousin and tapped the craftsman on the shoulder. "I didn't mean to change the subject, but there's one last question I have for you. Do you know how we can save my father? Zalron has had possession of his body for a long time, and I don't particularly want to destroy my father just to kill the Black Hood." Belgazar bit his lip and looked up at the ceiling. "I'm sorry, son, but your father is most likely dead already." Eliath fell to his knees and began crying. ringing echoed in his ears as visions of his father flashed through his mind. Dead? How could you say that? My father is strong. He's a Zane. He can't be dead. Eliath jumped to his feet and grabbed the man's shoulders and shook him back and forth. Take it back. Take it all back. You must help us save my father. I promise Sindril and my mother. Please. Tears streamed out of his eyes and his throat tightened. Zylok grabbed the boy and held him close. It's okay, Eliath. Everything is going to be okay. If there's a way to save your father, we'll find it. But we have other people we need to protect right now. Eliath sniffed hard and wiped his tears away. He gave his cousin a serious look and nodded. Okay, old man. I trust you. I'll put my emotions aside for now. We better get started on training immediately. Zylok turned to Zoran and grinned. Well, Lord Stark, care to help me train these youngsters? I'd be honored to help. Tell me what you need. Zoran shook the old man's hand. Eliath gave his cousin a fist bump. Time to get to work. And that is the end of chapter 35. Well then, that was quite the interesting chapter. Turns out one of the 4 warlocks isn't as nice as everyone hopes he would be. One of those never meet your heroes kind of moments, I think. Certainly not what they expected. Man, that's some good tea. Ooh, and you're almost done with the puzzle. That is it for the reading for tonight, but we have a couple of minutes, so I want to see if I can get Stunt Papa and invite it over to the Once Human server. So if you'll bear with me for just a moment, we will fire that up and then switch over to the gaming screen. Or at least, maybe we will. It's not working for some reason. We'll just do it that way. Okay. Oh. Let's get rid of that. We don't need that right now. We're not doing Iron Flame tonight. The sand art is looking impressive. Yeah, it is. I'm glad it's actually working. Oh, it helps if I'm actually sharing the game as well. That would. Oh my goodness. The puzzle's finished. Hold up. Let's check on this puzzle real quick. Wawel Royal Castle in Poland. Wawel. Well then. That's pretty cool. Good job. Why? My Stream Deck all of a sudden doesn't want to push buttons. But there we go. Now it's working. Okay. Stunt Papa, I don't know if you can hear me, but we're going to see if we can figure this out. I'm heading out, y'all. Kay, it's great to see you. I hope you get a good night's sleep. You deserve the rest. I know that much. It's because we didn't have Stunt Mama here slowing us down. If you say so. I am not getting in that fight. Nope. Not happening. Also, just real quick, I altered my base slightly. I made it a little bit smaller in the perimeter. As you can see, it's a little tighter, which is cool. Oh God, Stump Mama's here. Stump Mama super said a bad word. But check this out. I made a little hallway. It goes around the entire perimeter. And I noticed I missed something right here. Prints, floor. Let's fix that. Did I mess up on the other ones too? I probably did. Let's spray paint the corners. An endless corridor. Yeah, literally. Oh, there is no stone there. That's weird. Is it? You know what? It's fine. We'll figure it out later. But yeah, so if I were to make Stardust, right? And if they broke through the first wall, they still have another wall to get through. And then I could also place turrets inside here to shoot down the hallways. You've added a ton. My little compound here is awesome. Look at this thing. It's amazing. It's so cool. I love my compound. I stopped producing a bunch of stuff because, well, what's the point? What did I do here? What is this? Nope. That's not what I wanted to do. Prints. There we go. Fixed it. So yeah, I stopped producing stuff, but when you switch servers, your house blueprint comes with you. So once I'm leveled up enough memetics wise, because I'm assuming we're going to have to do that again, I'm just going to make sure I have enough materials, and then I'll reproduce this and have it built all in one go. But yeah, anyway, the goal here is to see if we can get Stump Papa signed up. So Stump Mama, is Stump Papa, like, can you throw something at him? Get his attention? Or maybe he's in Discord. I could jump into Discord. You're back. Stump Papa, do you want to hop in Discord real quick? In voice chat? Are you able to do that right now? I went in the just chatting. I don't know where you want me to go, but I figured that'd be a good place to start. Why is there no music? Why are there no music? Why no music right now? It's literally nothing. Well, I'm going to say goodnight. Y'all have fun with Once Human. Good night, Stump Mama's mama. Yeah, I'm not actually going to play right now. I'm just trying to see if we can get Stump Papa in the server that's going to be starting here soon. Stump Papa, hello.
Can you hear me? Hello.
I hear you now.
How are you doing?
What happened? What happened in Big Daddy?
Oh, not much. Just watering the lawn.
There you go. All right, so when you go to sign up, you go to Manibus. You're telling me that...
Oh, no, I didn't do that. That's not how I was doing it.
And what were you doing?
Okay, so I need to go into this character here.
Yeah, so... like, choose your character. Hit escape.
Yep, enter game.
Yeah, enter game. Start by entering the game.
Yes, doing that. Give me 10, 15 minutes here because it's going to take forever. There I am. Ooh,
All
my
right.
stuff was automatically saved.
Good.
Which I think it means it's gone. All right, so
Hit escape.
sign up Manibus.
Yep, hit sign up and then click on Manibus. And then PVE 1-X0031.
There it is. There it is.
And then just,
01X0031.
then just hit register because it's almost full.
Cool. Yeah, it says almost full. Yep. All right, now I'm in.
Okay, cool. So what were you doing?
I was just trying to enter a new server. I didn't know that was getting the new character over. Yeah, I didn't
You
know.
were, like,
That's
just
when I asked
starting
what you
over.
had to do. Yeah, that's when I asked, what do I have to do? Anything besides signing up? It's like, no, just sign up. I was like, okay. But
I see.
go
now.
into your account and then go to the Manibus was the key I was missing.
Yes. So it's they churned out these new scenarios, and then you choose a scenario, and then you choose a server.
Okay.
We're essentially doing the same thing that we just did. It's the same kind of gameplay.
Now, how do I have my things transfer?
Right. So this is what I wanted to talk to you about. So if you go back to the escape menu where you see your normal stuff.
Yep.
Up at the top, you'll see the Eternal Land palm tree.
Yep.
You're gonna click on Manage Materials.
Oh, nope. Okay. Sorry, I'm fat fingering. Manage materials. Yes.
And then up in the top right corner, the triangle astral sand, that's a currency. How much do you have?
77,000.
Okay. So here's how it's going to work. The stuff that you have either in your inventory or on your person, like in your backpack, whatever can transfer will transfer. So things like blueprints, they transfer. Your house blueprint, if you have that saved, that transfers. Things like your actual materials, they don't transfer. But each week you can spend 20,000 astral sand currency dollars, whatever you want to call them, to buy back the things that you own. So essentially, what you want to do is sell things that don't matter so that you have at least 120,000 astral sand.
Okay.
Because if the season is 6 weeks, 6 times 20 is 120. You have enough money for each week to buy back certain things.
Okay.
Eventually, it won't matter, I'm assuming, because we'll be playing a game and we'll collect more stuff. But to be safe, you can do that. So, like, you'll be able to buy back some of your deviants. Things like gold bars or silver bars, if you have any of those, you could essentially buy those back and then sell them at the next store so that you can get energy link currency. But everything that you buy with astral sand has a price. So I don't know how far the 20,000 per week is going to go. Like, it's not like a 1-to-1 ratio. I imagine that the highly sought after things are obviously going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
So it's, and blueprints for like weapons, those transfer over. The weapons themselves will not, but the blueprints that you've unlocked will.
Okay. Now, the things, if I transfer things into Eternal Land, is that what I'm paying to get back? So if I move things into Eternal Land, did I pay to get them out? So should I send my things to Eternal Land or no?
You can, but you don't have to, from what I've
Okay.
understood. There's also a video that the game came out with. So if you go to your mailbox,
I don't have it anymore. They moved all my stuff. I have mail.
Okay, well, if you look at your mail, there's a system message, season and scenario design concept. There's a YouTube link.
Ah, okay.
The little H-37 deviant robot floating thing, basically the character of, will explain certain things to you. But an easier way to figure out what transfers is where was that? Yeah. If you click on escape, go to Manibus Novice, like you're going to sign up, like you just did. But instead of clicking sign up, click the season sign up info. That has a lot of the information regarding what you can transfer. So, for example, you can transfer the following content to your Eterland depot: weapons and armor, common resources such as materials, medicine, ammunition, deviants, and calibration blueprints. Energy links will be converted into astral sand at a certain rate. From what I understand, though, you don't have to actually put them there. It will transfer when you switch servers.
So all my
'Cause-
stuff will go into my Eternal Land then.
Right, because even if I go to, even if I go to Eternal Land, I haven't figured out a way to like deposit ammunition or weapons or whatever else. Because as far as I understood, weapons you can't even bring with you. So like I'm in Eternal Land right now. If I go to my inventory, it just shows me some ammunition, but I don't even know how this ammunition got here. Like, it doesn't show me what I can do. Like, it just shows what I have on me. You know what I mean? So, it's a bit confusing in that regard. But apparently I need to talk to Matsuki. Or Mitsuko, sorry. I've completed my scenario registration.
So I'll watch that video then, and I will. I'll figure out how to get the stuff in there. But I'm signed up now, so that's the important part.
Yes, that is the important part.
Well, thank you for showing me that.
Yes, didn't want to leave you behind. That would be a problem.
No, I don't want to be left behind. Yeah.
Because I don't even know. Like, they say that you can build stuff here, but I've built stuff before. Like right over here, actually. I built a little house, just a very basic construct with windows and whatever. But it wasn't letting me like put stuff in it, I couldn't really do anything. It's a bit odd.
It is.
So if you want to be on the safe side, build yourself a little house over here, nothing fancy. And then you can store a few things just to see if it helps, but a lot of the stuff we're going to have to go and hunt down for ourselves anyway in the new base, or in the new server.
All right.
Yeah. It's a bit odd. So, all in all, it's basically going to be a repeat of what we just did. The only difference is we'll have a few extra perks that we can use because we've already done it. From what I understand, the season after this is when it'll be a literal new storyline.
Okay, so this coming season will be the same, and then one after that will be all new.
That's what I understand. I could be, misinformed, but that's essentially what I've been told. Or I learned about. So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Either
All
way,
right.
I'm just
Well,
glad to have something to do.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because the new one starts hours. Let's see. 13 hours and 27 minutes. So basically 12 hours from now would be 8 a.m. for me. So 9:30 a.m. Central Time.
And what day is that? Tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay.
So that's when we're supposed to be able to access it at least.
Okay. Well, we'll see. Maybe I'll pop on tomorrow.
Yeah, and I'm not working tomorrow, so that's what I'll be doing.
Well, tomorrow. So then tomorrow we should just log in and be on the new server then.
That's what I understand.
Okay. Well, we'll figure it out.
Yes,
I'll be
we
on
will.
tomorrow. Tomorrow's hanging out and video game day because it's Labor Day.
Exactly.
I'll
Succubus
run out
UA. Hello.
but I'll be on.
Yeah. So we'll see. Fingers crossed it all works smoothly, because you know how it goes.
Yeah, right. Smooth as sandpaper.
Smooth as sandpaper, yes. Especially that really gritty stuff.
Yes, a good 40.
Yeah, that's
All right, man.
that's really good for wiping your ass with.
It's great.
All right,
I'm
sir.
gonna pop out. Thanks for the
yeah.
the instruction.
No worries. Glad you got in. See you later.
Have a good night, bud.
You too. Hello, everybody. So we just finished reading a couple of chapters in our book, Kingdom Society. Soda, how are you? Good morning to you. Let's see. We're on page 388 now, which means, what? About 100 pages? Yeah, right around 100 pages, maybe a little less, remaining in the book, which is kind of crazy because it's a long book. It's just shy of 500 pages, so it's a nutty one. Hi, did a name change, but it's still, oh, UA, it's UA. Okay, sorry, took me a moment there. I'm all right, how are you? I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Enjoyed reading tonight, and then we were just going over the Once Human game because a whole new server starts for myself and a group of others tomorrow morning, and I'm very excited. Yes, I am. Is Corgi still in here? I don't think she is. I gotta get that link from her. She popped in earlier to say hi, and I was trying to get her attention for a link. She hired me to be a voice in a Minecraft YouTube show, and I wanted to share the link so other people could check it out, but she disappeared, which is okay. It's fine. I'll get it next time. It's okay. But anyway, unless someone has any business to attend to, that is it for stream tonight. That's the end of it, as we say. That's all she wrote. Yeah, it's been an absolute blast though. I have enjoyed every minute of it. It's been lovely to hang out with you, to read to you, to share life updates with you about the house build and, you know, all that good stuff. More to come, of course. More to come. Hopefully I'll get some answers on Tuesday. I'm assuming they won't be in the office on Monday, just like everybody else, but who knows? In the meantime, let's figure out who we're going to go raid, shall we? Who are we going to go say hello to? Let's check to see who's online right now. Gosh, there's so many people online. It's a great problem to have. Truly is. Let's see. I've got a couple of people in mind that I think would be fun to raid out to. There's Gentle Fox ASMR. He is a book reader. Looks like he's reading an H.P. Lovecraft, Call of Cthulhu. Cthulhu. I can't say that right. Cthulhu. Something like that. Cthulhu, I think it's called. Call of Cthulhu. We have Thump Gaming, who's trying his hand at Escape from Tarkov. Oh boy, there's a few others doing their thing right now. I don't know. I don't know. So many options. That violin chick is on. We haven't rated her in a while either. Patty's on. I think we rated her last time. Let's see what that violin chick is doing. Let me just check her stream. Of course, she's playing the violin. It says just chatting, but that is not what she's doing. You know what? I think, though, we haven't rated Gentle Fox in a hot minute. I think it will be worth going over to his stream. It's got the same kind of chill vibe. Plus, he does a lot of cool ASMR-ish stuff that you can redeem through channel points. So if you don't mind, copy the raid message. And we'll go say hello. I will be back on Thursday with some Once Human and then reading Iron Flame in Discord after that. So definitely stick around for that. Otherwise, we'll be back to this book in a week's time. And I imagine we only have a few streams left of this book. So hard to say how long it'll take, but it won't take that long. Have a good night, everyone. You too, Mama House Gaming. It's a pleasure to see you. Super, you as well. Thank you again for that resub, by the way. I hope you have a great week. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you're facing this week, I hope that you tackle it with a sound mind and only positive things come your way. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a good night.